Hello, everybody. My name is Michael Corsi, and thank you so much for joining me on my channel. This is my second YouTube video. I apologize for my first YouTube video that went public. It was a little shaky and it cut off after 12 minutes and 30 seconds, so I do have to keep these a little short. But I'm going to be trying to post at least 3 videos a week. So basically, who I am is I've been pretty prominent on Facebook. I'm from Chicago, Illinois originally. Recently moved back with my family because I'm currently in the process of trying to buy a house. So I'm currently staying with them, but I lived in Wisconsin for about 7 years and I just recently moved back. I'm kind of a political commentator, and I belong to a few groups online where I'm trying to basically expose the hypocrisy of the left and basically teach people how to step into their personal power. I am someone that struggled with personal power, self-esteem for years. I struggled with drug abuse, methamphetamine abuse, cocaine abuse, addiction for many years. And I struggled with value. And when I realized that all of my addictions, all of my substance abuse was stemming from a place of being unworthy, of being unloved, once I tackled those issues head on, I found freedom from abuse and addiction. Because if you can't bond with someone, you're going to bond with something. And that's pretty much what I did. I spent countless time on medication. At one point I was on 17 different medications. I was on lithium, I was on Wellbutrin, I was on Lexapro, I was on all these different medications, and I felt like a piece of me died. I felt like my creativity, I felt like who I was dying inside. And I struggled with terrible depression. Back in 2011, actually 2010, my friend won American Idol. His name was Lita Wise, and I was able to go on the show. And when I was there in Hollywood, something just didn't feel right. It seemed very, very covert, but very predatorial. And I was worried about, my friend, and I told him, you better keep yourself pretty grounded. And the minute that we became, when I was shown on MTV, and when, because I had a small segment in Arlington Heights back in 2010 where I was filmed, and they asked me, well, what did you think about Lee? And I said, well, I thought he was going to win the whole thing back when he got picked to go to Hollywood in January, and I was the only person, one of his friends, that was right. And and I'm not saying that to blow smoke up my butt, but that's why they were kind of interested in talking with me. But even back then, I was an outrageous alcoholic. I would drink, but I was functioning. I managed a deli in Jewel food stores, but I was constantly drinking. And when we came back, our friendships all got kind of ugly. We all kind of got separated. We all went our separate ways. And I never was the same coming back from Hollywood, and I could never put my finger on it. I fell into addiction pretty heavily because being under that type of microscope, having your friend become world famous at the time, everybody was prying into my personal life. Everybody was, and anybody that did want to talk to me or be my friend, they just wanted to get to him. And that made me feel very insecure as a person, and I fell into a downward spiral, and it ended up me attempting to take my own life back in 2011. And when that happened, I saw something that I can't quite put my finger on, but something was telling me to keep going. And I went to countless rehabs, countless institutions to try to get myself back to the missing piece, why I couldn't stop using or abusing drugs. And I went over the 12 steps and just could not fathom or comprehend the idea of being powerless over your addiction, of constantly having to go to a meeting till you die. I mean, I was basically on a mission to seek. And after many, many years, I realized that I was the problem, that there was something going on. So what I tried to do was I was seeking something, and then a guru named Sadhguru came on my YouTube feed. And he said, what is the one contract that we cannot break in our lives? And I'm like, well, I've listened to witches. I've listened to self-help books. I've gone to meetings. I even went to a Scientology cult called Narconon, where it disguised itself as a 6-month rehab, but really was a Scientology cult, only me. But I went everywhere. I tried everything to stop using drugs, and I couldn't. And so I was like, I listened to everybody. I'm going to try this guru. So I listened to him, and I'm thinking and racking through my head, what is the one thing that we can't break? And then he says, it's with the trees. And I'm like, okay, I can't listen to a tree hugger. So right before I'm about to click off, he says, no, listen, hear me out. He goes, without the trees, you can't breathe. Without your breath, you can't bitch. He then added on that if all insects on planet Earth went extinct, in 18 months no life would exist here. If one insect is so important, what do you think your role is? And that was like, holy shit. I have to rethink everything here. Do I really have purpose? Do I really have meaning? Am I not just floating around? So then I started seeking out. I started doing mantras. I started looking up Hinduism. And at first I thought I was betraying my faith because I was raised Christian. And I felt, is this wrong? And what I came to learn is, whatever you call it, Christ, Buddha, it's love. You know what the vibration of love is, and you know what the vibration of not love is. And I developed this project on Facebook early on, when I started posting videos on Facebook after I got out of the military. I decided to start this project where I had to do one nice thing for myself and one nice thing for another person. Now, I was terrible with writing things down. So I thought, well, okay, how about I post a video or a live video? Whether people want to see it, they can. If not, they don't have to. But at least I'll be reminded to post a video every day because I'll receive a notification on my phone, you know, and that'll remind me, hey, I got to do a video. So what I did was I had to do one nice thing for myself and one nice thing for another person. Now, I had almost no money at the time, so it didn't have to be monetary. So my nice things for myself would be either meditating or, you know, opening up the door for someone. But then I would have to keep that fresh in my mind, and then I would post it on a video, and then I'd play the video back the next day to remind myself what I did for myself. The next thing that I did was I carried a pocket mirror with me. So anytime I wanted to think something negative or talk about somebody else when I was doing this project, I had to look in the mirror and remind myself of a time when somebody said that to me and how that made me feel, to ground me and pull me back. But after 10 days, I got rid of that mirror, because if you keep doing that, you're going to keep that negative image of, oh, I'm such a bad person. So after 10 days, the mirror went away, and I kept continuing to do one nice thing for myself, one nice thing for another person. I had a friend call me around, I want to say the next month while I was doing this, and he asked me to pick him up from a motel. And he said, because the bus didn't go. And for the first time, I asked him, do you have gas money? He hung up the phone. And I couldn't believe it. I was stunned. I never asked people if they had gas money. I'd complain, I'd get all emotional, I'd say everything, but I would always go through with it. For the first time, I didn't get angry, I didn't get upset. I just asked him if he had gas money, and he was kind of out of my life after that point. I started to notice when I play back the videos the first time when I'd watch them, I was like, oh, my head's too big, oh my gosh, I look ugly, oh my gosh, who's gonna watch this? By the 9th or 10th video, I was like, I look pretty good. I'm kind of liking this, eh? And I started to notice that my self-confidence went up and my value went up. And I also noticed that some people that I was living with and some people around me were trying to ever so hard to keep me down, pull me down, keep that negative self-image. Because if I had that negative self-image, I wouldn't reach my full potential. They'd look better, you know. And I know that sounds sad, but it took me a lot of strength to realize that, hey, I have to basically teach myself how to be my own friend. And we always hear in the media, you got to love yourself, you got to treat yourself. But how do you do that? Well, I feel like I've discovered a way to do it. And I feel that if you're empowered and you can love yourself, then the sky's the limit. So that's what this YouTube channel is going to be. How about self-empowerment? Because now, along with my Facebook, I am an adamant Trump supporter. And I've been speaking out against the mob and the hate-filled media. And even my friends who've gotten so violent and detestable when they talk about me and calling me crazy, I need to go on medication. I would not be able to stand up to those jeers and that name-calling had I not have self-worth or self-value. And I want to help you learn how to achieve that. So for every week I'm going to post about 3 videos, and I encourage you to like, share, subscribe, and if you see the bell notification, hit that bell notification so that you can see whenever I post up a new live video. And these will become more professional as they go along, but you know, I'm basically going with my gut and just doing these YouTube videos because for so long I put it off and was so afraid to do it and wanted to, you know, because you're just basically viewing me. But as time goes on and as I receive donations or whatnot, I'll be able to buy better equipment. I'll be able to carry this message of self-empowerment and self-love to others, which I'm hoping to do. So again, I can also put down my PayPal. If you do feel generous and you do want to leave a donation, it's fine. If not, it's fine as well. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not, you know, raking you across the coals for money or anything, because that's not what I'm about. But you know, if you are willing and you are generous,